Hey guys,
Holy
welcome.
Hour Podcast.
It's the Holy Hour Podcast. Welcome,
What?
friends of the Cure. We're coming at you late this time. This is in the
Friends
wee
of the
hours.
Holy Hour Podcast.
Yeah, this is Gavin. I'm joined by
Donald.
Hey, thanks for joining us late. This isn't no brunch podcast this time. Sipping on
I love brunch.
OJ and coffee, mimosas, little crunchy niblets.
Oh, mimosas are kind of the greatest thing that have ever been. Like, whomever put that chocolate in that peanut butter of orange juice and champagne.
Yes.
I would blow them. Like, or, if it was a lady that did it.
Yeah.
Sky's
the
just
limit.
beautiful. Mimosas are the best. Is my point. Is mimosas are the best. And if this is a brunch episode, I'm mimosing it up.
But it's not. It's late night. Night, which means
I'm brunching in my heart.
yeah.
Have you ever brunched in your heart?
Can't say I have. But thanks so much for joining us. We thought this would be a great way to just kind of introduce the bulk of the episode. But Donald and I are here. We're just kind of kicking this off for you guys, and we got a little Cure chit chat. And what we're gonna do is the main topic of the evening is Carnage Visors, the epic tale that we've already kind of covered with Faith. But we have a great segment we've been sitting on for a while by Arusha, Automne Ben that was recorded a little while back. And we thought we'd share that with you guys while we prep a huge epic couple of episodes that are on the horizon still. But we thought we'd throw this your way, but we didn't want to, we thought we had to do it justice by, saying hi first and doing our little 2 cents a bit more. But before we dive in,
ease the listeners into
you can't just dive right into
dum dum because it's so heavy. It's so heavy.
But,
we are forklifts of heavy Cure podcasts loads.
But before we dive into all that, with forklifts of heaviness, how's your Cure levels been lately, Donald? Are you doing okay out there?
I'm doing pretty good. Like,
aside from brunching all the time and talking
I'm
endless
brunching
bullshit.
on the Cure, I've been brunching on stuff,
Yeah, cool.
But,
have you have any Cure revelations, or what have you been listening to? Yeah.
Actually,
I've
been taking a Cure break.
Yeah, and it's necessary occasionally.
It's weird. Like, anytime I put it on, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put it on. Like, it just never, when I'm listening to music and stuff, like, it just never comes to the forefront of, like, I'll put that on. But sometimes, like, times in the past, like, where it's just, like, that's, like, instantly when I, pick up my iPod or whatever, just like, boom, 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 and it's, like, the fucking Cure.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of that.
So your big Cure news is that you haven't been listening to the Cure.
Yes.
Boom, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Donald.
But it's not a bad thing.
No, I see what you're saying.
Because I'm listening to things that, are...
Well, I got just the thing that might snap you back into it. I'm not sure you're aware. But we're
Carnage Visors?
Carnage Visors. This is this epic song that you've never heard. No,
that's the best hook a fish could ever bite into right now.
No, the night we're recording this is what is it? Tuesday night, and this will air on Monday. But the Friday that's in between all this madness is the 21st. It's 21st. It's Robert Smith's 58th birthday.
420. 420? Oh, wait.
421. Yeah. And, so it's Robert's birthday this Friday. You doing anything to celebrate?
I'm going to be recovered from 420, man.
Oh, man. You're the worst. Who is
but
this guy? After you listen to nothing but 311 all day.
Amber is the color of my
Sublime.
energy. But no, I am gonna get high and listen to some Cure though.
There you go. See, I knew that would snap you out of it.
Even on 421.
Have you ever had any kind of rituals for his birthday? I'm kind of nerdy that way, as you might suspect.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah,
none at all. Like,
yeah. Is it
fandom of that nature?
Yeah. Is it more that you just forget or don't realize it's his birthday, or you just like make a deliberate effort not to celebrate his birthday?
It's just not my focus, man. There's like a billion things to focus on the world, and like,
yeah, but
I may be negating our podcast.
Giving praise to the man that you have a podcast in relation to. That's such a terrible thing. But yeah, you know, to each his own, I guess. Yeah. I will probably try to listen to every album in a row or something like that. I almost made it last year, but I forgot to fact check this. But it's pretty burnt into my memory. But it's also the anniversary of the death of Prince. Last year was on Robert Smith's birthday, and I remember at work, my old job, I used to just, one of the perks is that you could just listen to stuff all day on your headset, and I was like, all right, it's Robert Smith's birthday, I'm just going to listen to nothing but The Cure start to finish all day, and then like heard about midday, fucking Prince died, and everyone's just like, what? Holy shit. And then everyone's like, all right, guys, Purple Rain on loop, and I'm just like, right. I was like, yeah, I couldn't deny it. I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was like, but it's Robert's birthday.
Why don't we put on like The Walk or something? It's kind of similar. Like, there's like drum machines. And,
exactly. Just threw off my whole fucking playlist. But yeah, it's sad as shit. You know, I love Prince too to a certain degree. Especially Purple Rain, you know. But yeah, it's just a double sad day though. But, so yeah, hopefully. No other deaths will shadow over my celebration of Robert Smith's birthday this year.
As long as it doesn't sully 420, you know.
Yeah.
But that is a weird coinky-dink. Like time-wise of just like different dates meeting up.
Yeah. And I think he was turning the same age or something too.
Isn't his birthday around Easter?
Damn. Yeah. Now we're stretching. Now we're like one of those did you ever notice the facts between Abe Lincoln and JFK's assassination? It's like the first few are like,
JFK's chemtrails.
Yeah, it's like, that's awesome. Holy shit. They're like, like the eighth fact, you're just like, there's no connection between these. But that'd be cool. I'm going to be home with my kids, so I figured he loves birthday parties, so I think we're going to just like really fucking Robert Smith it up and have a birthday party for him. Why not? I'll get some Robert art out of him maybe or something like that. So if nothing else, it'll be a good way to spend the day just forcing him to listen to Cure records over and over again. But yeah, so that's this Friday, and then Record Store Day is on Saturday.
Oh snap!
Yeah, which is usually a good and bad thing. Like usually I go and I stand in the fucking horrible line just to buy some really overpriced thing, and only worth noting Cure-wise in the sense that they are releasing a vinyl version of, for the first time, the Greatest Hits album that came back a little while back, and it's a double vinyl from what I can tell, of like, or maybe 4, I don't know, seems like it'd have to be a lot of records of the acoustic thing that came out. It's like their Greatest Hits, and then the second disc would be the acoustic ones, but I don't know, I don't think
I don't.
It's the Greatest Hits one with the stars.
I thought it was like a re-release or something at first, but
it is basically. It's like a vinyl release. I don't think they ever put it out on vinyl the first time around of the Greatest Hits album. I think came out around when was that? 2004 maybe? 2001 actually. So 2000
like Galore or something, like a
no, it's kind of like
shit?
It's mostly Galore. Well, that's why it's kind of late. It's just it combines like Standing on the Beach and Galore. It's just like literally a Greatest Hits, not the singles. It had like Cut Here and Just Say Yes were the 2 new songs on the end. But basically it's like, yeah, like a condensed version.
I would not buy that.
I'm down with it, but it's like I already have, even on vinyl, like a few, even though I don't have a lot of the vinyl, but it's like I still have like the same shit on that I don't have, you know? So it's kind of like have pretty much everything.
And I'm not down with just like buying shit over and over again just to have, just to have it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I knew you would be pretty anti this one.
And I do think it's a little weird, like, I could see why they're doing it, but it is a tad gross. Like,
no, gross is a stupid word, but it's redundant. Would be a better word, where it's like not necessary, because it's like anybody that has them already has all the fucking songs on something else, even on vinyl. But it's sake of having all their albums technically on vinyl, even for collectors. I see it, and it's a picture disc, which I'm pretty anti.
It's like 20. Like $20+. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be expensive as fuck.
I'm not
probably,
spending $25 for a fucking record, man. Like, you could fuck yourself. Like,
but it's cool. It's out there.
It's
so
just
I'll wait till it
man.
gets used, and maybe they'll put enough of them out. It has to be some
rare shit, not some not a fresh.
Yeah, it's not really
fresh vinyl. Like, it has to be some rare shit for me, because I have spent like $30-$40 on records, but they're all fucking old.
Yeah,
and there's some like history to them. Like,
yeah. So yeah, it's not really on the top of my list. So I'll probably wait till it comes out used on somewhere and try to find a slightly discount version, or see if it doesn't sell at the record shop for a few months, and then try to get it a little cheaper.
And how this ties into Carnage
Visors. Well, the weird thing, too, is the availability of Carnage Visors, which I was thinking about before. Like, like we said, we kind of covered a lot of these points with the Faith episode.
A soundtrack to an art film.
Yeah, so, like, anyone out there at this point listening to it, in the sense that, like, doesn't know what the fuck Carnage Visors is, because it is, like, a few tiers in, maybe, on Cure, people that know the singles and shit may not know exactly what the fuck we're talking about, but it's on the reissue finally in full of the Faith reissue, but people have known it from the tape. I think is probably the most widely. The Faith cassette had it as the whole second side of Faith is Carnage Visors, but what it is the film that we've talked about that they used as an opening act on the Faith tour back in 81, and they did the soundtrack to this like animated, this animated film that was like the opening act, and Simon's brother Rick made it, and the whole story, the quick versions that they made this whole movie, he made it, and then it didn't get developed right and got fucked up,
and it ended up on their fucking record.
Yeah, and then they recorded it, and then they recorded it blindly, which really defeats the purpose of doing a soundtrack film, really. And then but yeah, that's what I was just wondering, as far as, because I wanted to hit you up with a few questions before we officially just kick it off to Arusha and company there. But it's funny, thinking of because that cassette that we had, these Carnage Visors, was the B-side, was definitely not how Faith was released, in 81. So that was
not at all.
Like a late
it's
80s
like a mall
thing.
Version of
it. And even the cover is kind of red with a deluxe value cassette or something. And
yeah, it was like a value cassette.
Where they just tacked
you're
it
getting 2 for $1s.
Yeah.
So and what a weird way to
What's that?
I feel like we either got the point of the concept of doing that, or missed it altogether. Yeah, because I don't know whether, finding it via cassette and a value, because I totally bought it.
Yeah, I think it was
it was a $2 fucking cassette, man.
Yeah,
and it was a bonus 2 for $1s.
Yeah,
and it really kind of blew my mind a bit. It was just what? A fucking cassette, a 2-fers, and nowadays it's, I don't know, it's such a long forgotten way to inseminate a weird project, knowing now like what went into making it and it to being onto a cassette. Like it's a huge journey, and it's just a bunch of weird shit. Like it went from like, it being played in a tent to me buying it in a mall.
Yeah.
In a like a dollar bin.
Yeah. What's weird?
Like
Any like soundtrack?
The inception to the
how people are hearing it. Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing, and at its core, it seems like a throwaway thing. Just like, oh, it's my brother or whatever. It's like this guy. No, we're gonna make a fucking a soundtrack to this movie we've never seen. Like what a journey.
Yeah, totally. And like, and that's what I wondered. Like, just as far as where it ended up in the sense, because they never put that out on vinyl of anything. No. So, and they still haven't technically. Maybe like the Faith reissue, I guess, has it on there finally. So it's probably like 6. How many? I don't have like the reissue version of Faith on vinyl. so I mean, but even that, I mean, it was like, so the cassette, it's weird. There was a huge gap from when it originally came out to when the cassette came out that had that. And then there was still a huge gap because the original CD of Faith didn't have it on there until, like the 2000s or whenever, when they put those reissues out. So, I mean,
I really want to fucking Carnage Visors on vinyl.
Yeah.
Like that's
it would be cool. I think it is on the vinyl reissue. It's like a fortune, but yeah, it's on there, so that would be cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as like record store day shit and stuff, it would be cool. Just the what we're talking about, like why not just put that out on its own vinyl? Would be kind of a cool, weird collector's thing, It's like, I'm sure maybe there is tons of like bootlegs that have it and shit, but like an official release would be pretty cool.
Actually, like if they started like releasing like vinyl of like their singles, because they had such good singles, and if there was like a little like Carnage Visors, just like a nice like 12-inch or whatever,
even like Join the Dots, just something weirder like that, it would be great to have that on vinyl, but I don't know.
Because those are like...
I guess that's the whole category.
Those are someone go ahead.
Oh, no, what are you saying?
Those are some of my favorite, like... I normally hate buying 12 inches of things. Unless, something very specific. But I love, like, the attention and care that the Cure put into their 12 inches. Or, like, they're, like...
Yeah.
Bonus length EPs and stuff are always so cool, and like, the album covers are cool. They were well thought out, and that'd be dope. Like
even just as a reissue box set of the 7 inches would be great. Even if you just did them from a certain era or something, but to do all of them, because the Smiths kind of did that. I got like one that's like the majority of the Smiths ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be awesome. Like even just to have like the whatever years, and like, but yeah, that'd be cool. I would buy that for sure.
Totally, man.
But like, I mean, I was saying, that falls in the category of all the billions of cool shit that the Cure could put out just to make money or for collectors. I mean, there's so much shit. It's just like
they haven't been gross.
Nah, and it's just like, I mean, all the live stuff as far as videos,
and they could easily be gross.
Yeah, I mean,
about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in it, really. I mean, it's your shit. You should put it out in every damn format you can, really.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's the beauty of Carnage Visors,
Yeah, like, it's still kind of elusive.
Because why would you just put out this fucking, like, how long is it? Like 15 fucking minutes or some shit?
27, almost 28 minutes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 30 minutes.
Yes.
Like, damn, what a bold fucking move, man.
Yeah.
That's so bold. And that's so dope. I love everything about it. Like,
yeah, it's a cool sound.
And I listen to that all the time. Like, I still listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the perfect background music when you're just hanging out and putting something on. I love the way beginning.
Come over to my house and eat some guacamole and listen to Carnage Visors because it happens all the fucking time. All the fucking time.
There you go.
It's like you said, like it's such a good mood jams.
Mm-hmm. Do you recall anything of it? Like, I mean, of course, it's the kind of thing they're not going to acknowledge, probably. But I wonder, what one take, if there's multiple takes of it, how many? I mean, I'm sure there was punch-ins probably, but as far as it seems like
one take.
Yeah,
that's my my going theory is one take.
Yeah,
and I half read a book and half Googled. Mm-hmm. Not tonight. I did not Google anything. But
yeah, I don't recall him ever talking about that.
I think it was a one-off thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would hint towards that even if it wasn't. But at the same time, it's I just wonder if there's other versions floating around that are slightly different.
Fuck no. There's one version and it was on a cassette tape at a fucking Sam Goody or something. Because you think
there'd just be at least some part where they kind of get off track a bit, but it's pretty solid all the way through. As far as just timing and feel, and I feel like it does lose steam a bit to be my one nitpicky thing of it, where it starts out super fucking.
How dare you? After 27 minutes, fuck you.
Yeah, somewhere around 21 minutes, it loses steam a little bit. Or maybe I just lose steam while listening to it, but I don't know.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's pretty weird. Do you think that movie will ever fucking surface? It's got to be so bad, in the sense.
I hope, man. I hope before I die.
It's another one for the why the hell this hasn't come out on some DVD or how easy would that be to sync it up, to some.
Come on.
Yeah, just as a bonus feature on something, but
You could do that in 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's 2 hours.
That's what I mean. I got the feeling it must be so bad that they're just I don't know.
But the song's so good.
Yeah, man. What the fuck?
I'm gonna say a piece. The piece is so nice.
Yeah, and it's so dear to Cure fans' hearts. So, even if it is one step above Gumby production or something, which
throw us a fucking bone.
Yeah, I mean, it still would be so cool for every Cure fan to see it in its entirety. Because there's that little snippet that's online, where it's just little bad claymation things like that. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool to see where the fuck it goes by the 21st minute. If it just gets really weird or what, But,
yeah, I feel I would just go I'd shrug my shoulders and go yeah, that's what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'd be something cool to see once.
If it were a brilliant thing, we would know about it. If it was a fantastic thing, it would be on the fucking internet. There's a reason why it's just no one's nah, it's just dumb guys. There's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said something. I forget where the other copies. There was 2 in existence, and Robert has one, and maybe the guy that made it has the other. So I think it's on a pretty tight leash, whatever it is. But yeah, I guess enough of our jibber jabber. Let's hand it off to a further conversation diving into Carnage Visors. Arusha, Autumn, and Ben present Carnage Visors.
Find Carnage Visors and hit the first note for a minute.
You guys.
Yeah, Ben, you were saying last night that you felt when you listen to it, it's a place.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially it's true. I am Norm. Okay, I walk in, everybody cheers as I enter, and Carnage Visors is playing in the background.
It kind of has a little bit of a Robert hair going on. Just saying. Yeah. Okay, we deciphered that it was 2 bass guitars, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
It's 2 bass guitars, keyboards, and a drum machine.
Was there a guitar?
There's no guitar.
We read that?
No.
But she read that excerpt from that.
I'm gonna find it again.
Yeah.
But what about
the place?
The place, man.
Well, I mean, I always envisioned. When I got Carnage Visors, I was 8. No, it was for my 19th birthday I got it, and I lived in the middle of nowhere, away from bus routes or anything that connected me to the world, and so I just had my music and my imagination, and it was And I listen to it a lot over the California winter. In the Bay Area, that means it's gray and misty the whole fucking time, if not raining. And I just envisioned like these endless labyrinthine stretches of like brutalist architecture, just with that gray haze. Everything's grayscale in California at that time of year, and I don't know. And I mean, I'm sure the artwork for Faith itself influenced that notion. I mean, how could it not?
Right.
I always felt Carnage Visors sounded more like the Faith album cover than Faith did. Just that kind of gray abstract.
The frog?
Yeah, the what was that? No, the Carnage Visors music sounded more like the cover of Faith itself.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like the frog bones are fascinating, but the thumb, just that gray. It's basically a blur unless you know.
It's a building. I think I remember reading an interview with Robert Smith where I feel like that's it's like a building of some structure, but it looks like a thumb to me.
Yeah, it's.
Under my thumb, Carnage Visors.
Oh God, that is my favorite Rolling Stones song.
No.
But anyway,
Sorry, Nick.
that's the thing.
If you're listening.
Basically the color scheme and the fuzzy sense of that Faith cover really imprinted itself on Carnage Visors in my experience. And especially just the repetitive. I mean, it's like you're lost in this vast, unending place. It's not good or bad, it just is. It's, I mean, the sense that, well, I'm here and nothing's happened. Maybe what's beyond this might be more imposing, more of a problem. I don't know. I mean, I don't perceive a problem. I actually used to fall asleep to Carnage Visors every night. So
really,
yeah, it was.
Me too. It was a big.
I mean, and again, it's when I was like probably between the ages of 19 and 22.
I was a little younger, but yeah, I used to always like put that on as my like nighttime. It was almost like now I use those stupid like apps you download. I should maybe start doing Carnage Visors again, but like yeah, it would like soothe me to sleep every night.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you heard it for the first time ish?
Yeah. I loved it. Like
right
it was
away?
strange. Well, yeah, because it was like I mean, my parents. It's not like they weren't hippies, but they had like cool records. Like my dad listened to cool shit, and a lot of those songs were longer than they weren't like typical pop songs. So I was excited to hear something that long that didn't have lyrics. That was really interesting to me. Because you could really focus on the music, which I don't think it gets lost because The Cure are a brilliant band. They're all very talented, but I think music in general gets lost when someone's singing over it.
Right.
And I do think Robert's good. I think he's one of the few front men that does use his voice as an instrument. And
right.
he isn't just like, I'm going to sing over these guys. It's like it all comes together in this very coherent, beautiful, like all the parts are needed. But with this, I could really focus on the pacing and how like monotonous and bleak it was. I think it just kind of appealed to like some like stoner part of my brain. It's very soothing. It has that same effect I think shoegaze music has, where you just feel like you're just it's just woozy and you're like kind of in it. Yeah, I mean I love it. It's not something that had to grow on me at all. It was like I just turned the tape over and thought it was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I can't remember when I first heard Carnage Visors because I heard Faith and 17 Seconds on Happily Ever After because I bought the album not knowing what the fuck was going on, and I was really, really young, and I had heard In Between Days and all the Japanese Whisper, just the singles, and so I think it actually took me a minute to get into Faith and 17 Seconds.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I may have been exposed to Carnage Visors like through acid. I don't know.
Acid?
Yeah.
Acid!
I feel like it may have been like a more like you gotta hear this kind of moment from Ian probably. I'm sure Ian had something to do with it. Hi Ian.
Hi Ian.
It's a different Ian. It's not the Ian that's it's not Ian Spanonius. That's what
Ian
the mic is resting on, or Ian McCullough, or Ian McKay.
I figured. I wish it was Ian McCullough. My hero.
What if we were like, yeah, Ian McCullough, we're just friend Ian McCullough.
Meanwhile, alright, so I'm going to read story time. So
okay.
Here's a little excerpt from 10 Imaginary Years about Carnage Visors. And this is page 45 of 10 Imaginary Years. Meanwhile, Simon's brother Rick had been working on a minimalist animation film to accompany the band on tour instead of a support band. The film, Carnage Visors, an antonym for rose-colored spectacles. I have to repeat that again because it's very important.
Yes, please.
An antonym.
The film, Carnage Visors, an antonym for rose-colored spectacles, was shot in Rick's garage, but when he got it back from the processors, he realized the light exposures had all been wrong, and that barely anything had come out. Gee, I don't relate to that at all.
Film is a bitch, I tell you what.
I tell you. Simon says, Rick had a lot of good ideas, but was a bit naive and lacked the material experience. He had to redo about 2 months of work in 3 days. He wanted to hang himself. Consequently, it was as good as it was going to get. With the British tour fast approaching, Robert decided that we'd have to record the soundtrack blind, quote unquote. So they went into Point Studios on March 16th using the day shift. Robert says, we rehearsed it for 3 days and then did it in one go. I played bass along with Dr. Rhythm drum machine. Lowell counted out the beats on a stopwatch and held the treatment for me to read, and Simon had a bottle of wine which he poured into my mouth every other minute. We got through 3 bottles of wine by the time we finished it. Then Simon did some bass overdubs. I did some keyboards, and that was it. We didn't actually see the film until just before we went on tour. So they carry on about primary and da-di-da-di-da. Flip the page, turn the page. Page 48. Critics, this is about touring, so they'd open with Carnage Visors. For the public, there was no way out. The critics said the gigs were religious ceremonies, and it was true. Most of the time, I left the stage crying. It was horrible, but at the same time, a good experience. Bizarre and intense. We only played the Faith album and 1 or 2 numbers from 17 Seconds. And because we felt so much what we were doing, if someone shouted something, Simon and I would go mad. We'd often jump up in the crowd and sort things out. Simon says, Carnage Visors worked for us in a way because we could find out what an audience was like by the reaction to it. If there were a lot of cat calls and throwing things at the stage, it would wind us up a lot, and we'd go out and be really aggressive. Interesting.
It is.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And
When you were reading that, I kept thinking about, like, Robert Smith.
Imagining Robert Smith
Crying.
going and settling things with the crowd.
Settle some things here.
I have
Or
a thing
crying,
I need to settle.
I need to settle some stuff.
I think he was a tough lad in the
I need to
beginning.
balance my
Tough
checkbook.
crowd. Tough crowd. He was a tough lad, and it was a tough crowd. They had to be. They went through the same shit we went through. Like, people didn't understand them. They wanted to kick their asses. Like, who hasn't had bottles thrown at them?
Yeah, I know. Well, also in Lowell's book, he talks about the fact that Robert, like, a lot of people didn't know what to make of Robert because he was half a lad, like half a normal person and half like out in the clouds. So even just they could just see that in him, and they were like, "What are you? Who? I don't get it." And they just wanted to beat him up for that reason.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, that part in that book actually really stuck with me. The whole thing about, like, not understanding. Like, Robert Smith isn't an open book. You don't look at him and get what he's about instantly. I think a lot of people are very predictable.
Right.
You know, you can just figure out the cut of their jib pretty instantly, but Robert is kind of complicated. Because he's had the same sweetheart since he was, like, what? Like, an infant, but most of the Cure songs are about heartbreak.
No, I mean, I think that taking drugs and listening to music is a common thing. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just, that is an association a lot of people have. I feel like this is a Stony Joe song, though, to use an Autumn term.
Stony Joe's High Ride. Oh my god, yeah. This is an after-school special song.
I feel like a lot.
See, I feel like 235 by Spiritualized is a Stony.
Well, I mean, Spiritualized's entire career.
Oh god, yeah.
But like that particular song is like, whereas
No.
this I feel like is it could be, but I feel like it could be just as easily like maybe you're sweeping and thinking about.
Maybe we should take this into more of a I hate the term, but it's more of a Zen like song because it is very repetitive.
It's that peaceful repetition. Like,
yeah, there's something you can hold on to the whole time. It has a heartbeat to it that particularly. Yeah, that's a heartbeat that goes throughout the whole song. And then...
Well, the other thing I talked about before, too, was that my friend Mike Moskowitz, I made him listen to Carnage Visors, and he was like, I listened to it 4 times, and I don't get it.
I like that he listened to it 4 times,
yeah, that's specifically... Oh.
Well, he's a very studious listener. Like, if you tell him, like, this song is real good, or this band is... He will study it, and he's... Like, he's just a person that's like, what does that song mean? Like, when we were with Lowell, we met Lowell at the book signing, he asked him very specifically about a song, and Lowell kindly was like, sometimes songs don't have meanings, it's just art, and it just comes, and you know, to try to dissect it too much, you ruin it, you know?
Totally.
So let's continue to dissect this.
Oh my god, I love it. It's amazing.
Funny. We actually were talking about that earlier. I'm like, it's hard to dissect things I love because, like, as somebody who is ostensibly a music critic,
right?
Sometimes I've had people ask me, they're like, "Oh, why don't you do like classics or your favorites?" I'm like, because I don't want to alter my relationship with them like that. And I feel like The Cure is so much in my blood that it doesn't change it the same way. But like when you love something and you pick it apart, it does change it. Or at least when you share that picking apart. We all have our own picked apart thoughts on anything we experience.
It's that The Cure have gotten so weird to me. I'm sure we all live in the same boat despite our age differences because you were raised on it. I mean, you got into them at a very young age.
We all got into them in about 1987.
Yeah, but it's so weird because that was so long ago. It feels like such a part of me at times that I both take it for granted and also just kind of like am blown away by how it's affected my life in ways that people don't even get, that I don't even talk about because I take it for granted. Like the friends I have, the things I listen to, the choices I've made. It's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. No, it's weird. It's hard. Like even like for doing something like this, when we talk about like, you know, it's like I mean, I'll make jokes and whatever, but it is kind of crazy when I think about like I wouldn't have the friends I have that had not been for The Cure. That's a weird thing to say, but like it all kind of like happened. I wouldn't know you. You know.
Well, we may have bumped into each other.
Nick Cave, like yeah. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think we would have the kind of relationship we have. It was like that kind of cemented it. It's almost like it's like that was the old litmus test. The new one is, would you punch a Nazi? Yes, okay, you're my friend. You know, like I feel like there's like different ones before it was The Cure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when I think about like that's how I ended up in San Francisco. You know, just like shit like that. It's like they just indirectly affected my life in like this profound way that I really take for granted. It's really hard for me to just look at them in a objective way sometimes, because all those emotions come back. Like I can't. Sometimes I'm just like but then I'll go see them play, and suddenly everything's rekindled. It's almost like this like when you talk about like loves of your life. That's one of them. You know, it's a band. It's not a human being, sadly. I mean, it's like a few human beings in a band, but like that's like one of my weird thing. It's like a love of my. It's a soulmate, and that sounds creepy and weird, but it is.
Well, I remember because when I was at my first Cure show, I texted you about
that was so exciting because you were texting me the songs they were playing. I was like freaking out.
And so
Autumn, out like a maniac.
Autumn had been, you know, like we'd obviously had our tickets for the shows, and Autumn's shows, yours were a couple weeks after mine, 3 weeks later. Yeah. And I remember said, "Oh, I'm not that excited, but I know that once the tour starts and I see it, I'll get excited again." Because, you know, for you, it's something you've done dozens of times.
Totally.
And so I'm at the show, and I remember, like, through fucking tears, because the second they went on stage, before they even played a note of a song, I was just like, that internal what the fuck, and especially because
it's so primal.
It threw me. Well, also because I had been taught to expect that The Cure would go on stage, to the bombast, grandiose, plain song opening, because that's, you know, a traditional opener.
Yeah.
And so they went on stage and there was just this weird silence. There wasn't the wind chime ambiance. There wasn't anything. And I'm like, and I remember, I think I even texted you. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. They're on stage and there's no noise. And they started with fucking Shake Dog Shake, and I just like I died. And I instantly was just fucking crying because I was confused and overwhelmed.
Oh my God,
but I remember your excitement seemed to triple in that moment when I texted you, and I'm like, oh, now they're doing this, now they're playing Push, or now they're doing this. I was like,
I was all exclamation points and just
my texts that day from you were mostly exclamation points and emojis.
Oh my God, holy shit, oh, I love that, holy shit, like it's so exciting. But it was weird because I was so excited for you because it was your first Cure show. I remember my first Cure show. God. I don't remember all the Cure shows I went to, but I remember my first. And there's a few that stand out. But yeah, that was very exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing of firsts, I mean, you're saying that you heard them in the 80s. I was like, I think I probably heard them in the early 80s. I don't know, I don't remember. But one thing I also had talked about the last time we tried to do this was how interesting I think it is that there are people that are still just discovering them now, like in the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And like Mike actually didn't discover them until he was in his mid-30s, and he discovered them through Automne, which I think is really interesting because most people, somebody's like, here, listen to, you know, Disintegration, or you hear Pictures of You, or you're like, oh, that's Just Like Heaven song. But this girl, Cure Mad Girl, she has an online YouTube page. I had discovered her through my documentary, and I looked at her stuff, and then in Wembley I saw her night one, and
you saw other Voices people and shit, like, didn't you? Or
yeah, I mean, it was a really intense, it was like a time mash.
Yeah.
Like all decades of
like
Cure
your fan
time.
Club people were there. Like
Everybody
the original,
was there.
The OGs and shit.
Yeah, everybody. There was a lot of people there, but so this girl, I see this girl that I recognize from YouTube, and you know, I kind of took a minute to like watch her as I do because I like watching Cure fans, and I filmed her for a minute, but she was so excited. She was like buzzing, shaking, literally, you know, and
I know that.
But she, is this Spaceman 3?
Yeah, it's Electrolyte.
Oh, it's Electrolyte. I thought it was the beginning of Spiritualized.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen? No,
Oh,
or maybe
no,
the first record with the
Pure,
people.
yeah.
No, not Pure Phase, the other
one.
one.
Oh!
I love your hand gestures to figure out this one and this one.
You know, I just
that
discovered
one.
Spiritualized is they opened up for Susie and the Banshees. That's how I figured.
What?
Isn't that crazy? That's what made me like get obsessed with them. Anyway, go on.
Wow.
I know, it was a good show.
They opened up for...
You saw Susie?
Susie and the Banshees.
Where?
You saw Susie?
Yeah, when I lived in Colorado.
I've seen Susie.
She's great.
Well, no, I mean...
But Spiritualized...
The whole thing.
Spiritualized were actually better, that tour.
Oh.
Anyway, what were you saying?
But just the conversation of like how this girl who, I don't know how old she is, but to me she looks like she could be anywhere from 17 to 23.
Yeah.
Like how is it that this band...
Yeah.
It speaks to her, and it speaks to her in the same way that it spoke to all three of us, in the same way that it spoke to whoever else was following him around. And
no, totally. Well, no, it's interesting because we're all different people. I meet Cure fans that are different from me, obviously.
Yeah, not every Cure fan is like that, but it's
but it's like there's something. I think that there is a certain type of person where it's not just like, oh, I like this song, but there's certain types of people that become Cure fanatics where we all kind of see eye to eye politically, and we have the same ideas about things, and I don't know. They're like, it really is kind of a test for me. Not like, oh, I really like, I can't even think of a song. Like, oh, I like Just Like Heaven and love a song. Fuck those people. No, really, fuck you. I'm sure you're lovely people.
Just
but
Like Heaven's a great song.
But you know what I mean. But then there's the people that are talking about Carnage Visors on a podcast for the internet.
No, I mean,
and you're all in my kitchen, and you guys are great.
I mean, there's.
You guys, I get you guys.
Who else shows in our kitchen?
I can think of. It would be easier for me to list the songs by The Cure that I don't like than to list the ones I do.
I know. There's very few
I could be
songs
like,
that I'm
like you shouldn't have covered Young Americans.
No.
You know.
Just don't.
I mean, nobody should ever.
No.
I don't even know what
if
record that's on.
If you're a musician listening, don't ever cover David
It's
Bowie.
It's
Just
on
don't.
the record YouTube.
No, it's on Join the Dots.
yeah.
That's right.
And
right.
also,
it is.
they also covered "World in My Eyes" by Depeche Mode, which again,
yeah,
don't do that.
Cover your,
like
cover your peers.
the Cure doing covers,
They don't need to.
because they're such great songwriters. It's unnecessary,
Yeah.
and they choose to cover people who are also peerless. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's like, come on,
yeah,
like
cover my
I'm
songs.
cheering for you, but like
Come
you
on,
can't do that.
Cher. Cover some Lacey Spacecake.
So what do you Ben, again to recall, as a member of the younger generation, do you think that bands now can be that 40-year rock and roll legacy? I mean, we established, yes, everybody, even if a band comes out tomorrow and only has a lifespan of a year, they could write a fucking record that's going to blow everyone's minds, and there's going to be people that listen to it, and it's going to be great. But the longevity thing.
I mean, my personal opinion is that the music industry is not structured in the way it once was, where bands could put out an album that doesn't perform well but shows promise. And like, there was an era where you could show just continued growth, and that was enough for a record label, a major record label at that, to keep funding your progress as you found your way. And an interesting theory a friend posited to me, which I have no foundation to dismiss, is that it was actually when money men who knew nothing about music were running the industry, rather than A&R nerds who gave a shit. Those guys just kind of were like, well, we've got cash, we'll throw it at a little bit of everything and see what sticks. Because, you know, they were kind of doing the shotgun approach. Now, with targeted stuff, it's like, oh, that wasn't a success.
What do you mean targeted stuff?
People are actually like, they're more talent scouts. It's much more targeted which artist you'll pick up, rather than saying, oh, like, you're an interesting rock band and people are coming to your shows and we'll have this growth contract or whatever it may be. Bands don't have a 3-album window in which to find their commercial footing now. You don't perform well, you're fucked. Like, right out the gate, because the music industry isn't what it once was. That said, with platforms like Bandcamp and SoundCloud, musicians also don't need labels the way they used to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to build a 40-year career on your own. I mean, no band starting today, unless they're performing very derivative. I mean, you got like your Coldplays of the world, sure, you know, and Arcade Fires. No, and I mean that is a pessimistic view, but it seems to be reality. The Arcade Fire plays arenas. Coldplay plays arenas.
Yeah, but Coldplay started in the 90s, right?
Coldplay started like 98.
And Arcade Fire started
like 90,
yeah,
2000
too.
But yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Bands that cater to that. You're not going to see a band playing, you know, like no band that's putting out an album today that sounds like Pornography is going to be playing arenas in 30 years. That's just not a thing. But also, The Cure, while they've put out, you know, for us fans, great albums in the last 20-ish years, you know, they're touring on the strength of material that's 30 years old in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. They're touring on material, like, you know, even if you love them, you cannot deny that 92 was the cutoff point for most of the commercial longevity of The Cure. Like, everything up to and including Wish is what they have managed to leverage to have the success they have. That's more than half their career now that they've just been able to carry on the weight of some world-shakingly brilliant music. Mm-hmm. And I love Bloodflowers, and I'm even one of those people that defends the self-titled album. Not every song on it, but there are some songs on it that are unfuckwithable, and I will argue that. Find me on Twitter. You know, if you're listening, you know, we'll talk about it.
And Brews.
No, like like there are some great songs and there are some mediocre songs, but there are also mediocre songs on their classic albums too. Sometimes it's just a thing.
Name one.
Well,
Name
but
one.
wait a minute.
Fight.
I don't mind Fight.
But-
I don't mind it, but I don't love it.
So here's like I hear what you're saying, but I think that what The Cure has in the fact, like, yes, they're more powerful. Arguably, their better music was in the first half of their career. However, their live shows are so fucking good, and their fans are so loyal, and they keep growing, and now their parents passed on to their children. But that's part of the reason why I think they've been around for so long. And I watched a documentary about Rush recently. That
Nerd.
yeah, well, it also made Robert Smith. Can you help me? And we can make a movie like the Rush movie. It's gonna be really great.
Yeah, what the fuck, Robert Smith? What are you doing?
I don't know, but then in this film, Rush really talked about the way that they survived was because they toured all the time, and all the time they would take a year off. Like they weren't.
But those Rush fans, ugly.
Oh, there's something.
Ooh.
But they were saying that it was their fans, but then the fans say, well, it's because they play so fucking good, and I think that The Cure is, it's their catalog, whatever way you slice it, but it's also, even with the rotating band members, because it's not the same. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, like Bowie is always kind of Bowie. Right, or was always, Bowie with different people, but he has longevity. I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's interesting. I think it's a combination of the climate of making music today, the artist, and rock and roll. I think that we're in a downside. Like, I think rock and roll was born in, what if you say it's born in the 50s?
Yeah.
The teenage years of rock and roll were in the 60s with garage band, and then the 18, 19-year-old was punk rock, and then the 20s were, you know what I mean? That's how I feel. Like now,
totally.
It's very much like, when I hear kids talk about music, a lot of them just talk about doing everything yourself on the laptop versus grabbing a guitar.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that's like, there's actually what your camera, or your recorder's propped up on, there's like this fascinating essay and that little book there about like rock and roll as real estate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a really good essay about like, because rent is so expensive now and you can't afford practice spaces or garages.
Right.
Like that there has been like a influx of laptop musicians and singer-songwriters and whatnot because no one has the money to have a band.
Yeah.
That requires space, that requires real estate, that requires volume because you need a drummer and you got to be as loud as the drummer. It's a really great essay.
Well, The Cure had Robert's mom, and they
were like totally
garage.
cool. That was like a different time. Like my family had a garage when I grew up. I think that's a luxury now. I haven't seen I can't think of the last time I fucking seen a garage. Who has garages?
All right, team. This is Arusha reporting to you for the Holy Hour podcast with Autumn.
Hi.
And Ben.
Bye.
Fight the power.
Fight. Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
Over and out, team.
All right, there you go, listeners. Carnage Visors. You thought we couldn't talk about Carnage Visors for an hour. Shame on you. All right, granted, we did steer off topic a little bit here and there, but for the most part, we did it. And thanks for listening. And of course, thanks so much to Arusha, Autumn, and Ben for once again contributing to the program. Always love hearing your Cure conversations. You can find Autumn's music at LaceySpacecake.bandcamp.com. And you can also check out her wonderful illustrations in books such as Defensive Eating with Morrissey, vegan recipe book that you can also happen to find at mixedupgifts.com. Another friend of the show there. And be sure to go on over to Black Metal and Brews on YouTube, where you can also find the blog. That's Ben's project, where he reviews black metal and brews. So lots of stuff to check out. And of course, go on over to curefandocumentary.com, where you can check the latest updates on Push, a Cure fan documentary, Arusha's project there. And you can find all the social media outlets there and figure out a way to drop a line to her and see how you out there can help make this project come to life. Again, that's curefandocumentary.com. So go check that out. As for the Holy Hour podcast, thanks so much to Donald for kicking off some Cure jibber jabber with me. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast here on iTunes. Leave us a ranking, a review, anything along those lines would be gratefully appreciated. Apparently it helps a lot. I don't know, but feel free to drop us a line there, or just to me specific at gavinconner@gmail.com. As far as social media stuff, go on over to Facebook, where you can find links to specific episodes and follow along with extra little tidbits. So on Facebook, just punch in the Holy Hour Cure podcast and it should pop up. As well as on Instagram, the Holy Hour podcast is there waiting for you. We'll be throwing out some feelers for episode ideas and chances for you to contribute. So we always want to hear from the listeners, whether it be a segment or just how you're feeling. So until next time, we'll catch you soon from the Holy Hour podcast. Go put on Carnage Visors. Do whatever it is you need to do in the next 30 minutes to a wonderful piece of instrumental music. Till next time.